In today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 mistakes that every nurse leader makes. And when I say every nurse leader makes these, we've all made these mistakes one time or another. These are often the mistakes that we make when we're new managers, but we've all fallen victim to these. And a lot of times we don't even know that we're making them.
Most often, we make a lot of these mistakes when we're newer, but they can creep in at any time. So let's get into the top 5 mistakes every nurse leader can make.
Top mistake number 5 that every nurse manager makes is trying to do everything by yourself. When you're trying to do everything by yourself, you probably are going to end up drowning. You might
out.
Yes. And you're also probably doing a little bit of micromanaging. A nurse manager who's trying to do everything by themselves is usually not delegating.
Correct.
If you're not delegating, you're not allowing other people to improve themselves as well. And most staff want to be able to improve.
And they want to help you.
Yes, they do, generally. Like anytime I've said, hey, I need help, I'm drowning, I've always had staff step up to the table and say, what can I do to help you? And that makes them feel good. The last part about trying to do everything by yourself is that you probably actually haven't stepped back and tried to figure out how to prioritize tasks. Have you ever done that before?
Yeah. And it's kind of, even as a newer nurse, you do this where you think, well, if I take a break or if I stop doing any of these things long enough to even delegate or tell someone else that I need help, that I'm just going to be so far behind, when in reality, you're getting yourself further behind by not doing the exact thing that you need to do. Of the top 5 mistakes, number 4 is focusing on problems and not the successes. And the downside of this ends up being demotivating your staff.
Yeah.
What does it do to morale?
It just sort of plummets. Yeah. And I think it's really easy to do this when you're a new manager. I've met so many nurse managers that are like, I've got all these things I want to fix and change. And they come in ready to just tear the place apart, but all they do is focus on the things that are going wrong, and they don't take enough time to talk about things that are going right. What's the problem when we only focus on negative things and we don't talk about positive things?
It comes across as you only care about the numbers, not the people. You only care about making everybody else happy, and you forget that there are actually people involved on the unit.
And then
can be sad.
You kind of look like you're the manager, not the leader. And our whole platform here is how to get you to be a leader, not just a manager. But I think the other thing that's important when you're talking about positive and negative feedback is that for every one negative feedback that you give a person, they need 7 positives to get back to net neutral. And so if you're only talking about the negatives, you're never going to have your staff get back to normal playing ground, and they're just always going to feel like all you do is nag them. And that's not a good place to be anywhere. I don't think any of us that are in long-term relationships want our partners to just always nag us and never say, hey, I appreciate that you did the dishes today.
Yeah, it's true.
So instead of talking about the negatives, what are we going to do differently?
You want to celebrate your wins as much as possible in huddles, in meetings, even the small things like, hey, so-and-so caught that we made a mistake, or so-and-so noticed that the pharmacy door was left unlocked, or something. Even the small things
Those
can matter.
Good catches.
Yeah.
I think even like if somebody has a project going on, those can even count as positives. You can talk about the small milestones as you work through some of these big projects, and that could be considered, hey, we're this far into our 10-step program, and here's where we are. We really appreciate all the work that these people have put into that project.
Yeah. And then the other one is you want to kind of make sure that you're giving shout outs, kudos, positive reinforcement, not only publicly, but privately, because sometimes the private ones matter. And then this is where I want you to go check out our video on recognition. Make sure it's specific, especially for your higher achievers on the unit, your go-getters, and the people that are really helping you a lot and stepping up. You want to make sure you're very specific about what it is you're thankful for or what you're giving them kudos for.
And sometimes people like to have praise be given privately versus in front of their peers. And so there's a whole bunch of theories about generational differences, but at the end of the day, you should just probably ask them, how do you like to get feedback? Top 5 mistake number 3 is that you don't take time to work on your own self-development and well-being. And I've seen so many managers that just keep pushing, and they never take vacation, and they stay late every day. And
Don't do it.
Do those leaders stay in positions very long?
Not usually.
Yeah. And when they do, they're so traumatized that they just are bitter, and it's really sad. Because you can have a work-life balance in leadership if you play your cards right. But if you're not doing those things, you're not actually prioritizing it, you're going to hurt yourself and your team. It doesn't actually do anyone favors. It's just like when you're on the airplane.
Correct. Put your oxygen on first before you can help someone else.
100%.
And you don't want to become a person that is essentially like just giving your whole soul to the job where you have nothing left for your own personal life. That's always disappointing.
I think that's really easy to do as nurses too, because we go into nurses because we're selfless and we want to help people. But if you do that as a nurse manager and you don't actually fill your cup back up, you are going to run dry. And you are going to not be a good leader if you don't take care of yourself.
So here's the secret. Personal development and time for yourself actually makes you a better leader. It continues to help you self-reflect, identify things you can improve, and grow. Or you get those connections and networking that help you succeed on a bigger level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually really important to do that, not just for you, but also for your staff. So going to conferences, going to the things that you can. Some facilities are a little more challenging to get to those things, but there are usually local things that you can at least get to and try to get that opportunity.
Even if it's virtual, or even if it's listening to a podcast or a TED Talk. I mean, those are the things that help rejuvenate your excitement and reignite your fire about why you came into this position in the first place. And when you take care of yourself, it takes care of your brain, and then your brain is more efficient and you're able to accomplish more in a day. So you're not spinning out. I mean, I remember when I was a new manager, I used to do this. I literally did this where I would not leave. I would not exercise. I gained 10 pounds immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the end of the day when I was like on hour 10 or 11 or 12, my old assistant manager, before you were my assistant manager, he would tell me, "Hey, Cindy, you're having your daily TIA. I think you need to go home," because my brain wasn't working anymore.
But you kept pushing it like it was going to solve something. So just make sure you take the time to not do that.
Part of the reason I would do that was because I felt guilty. I felt like if I left, my staff were going to judge me. But honestly, like, they were more worried about me. And so once I started taking care of myself and then I was able to show up better for them, they actually really appreciated that.
Okay, mistake number 2 is going to be fails to build trust. Now, that sounds silly, but that one is actually incredibly important. How come, Cindy?
Well, if you don't have trust on your team, you're going to have dumpster fires every single day. And the longer you go without having trust on your team, the more dumpster fires you're going to be putting out. And so then you end up in this cycle where you're just doing task management and you're putting out the fires every day and you never have time to get ahead. And so all of these other things that we already talked about, where you're maybe working too much, you're not taking care of yourself, you're trying to do everything by yourself, it just starts to cascade and it can very quickly get out of control. And this is why a lot of managers leave positions after the first year or two, is because they don't get this under control. They don't prioritize building trust. And so they spend all of their time babysitting and they hate it. Nobody actually wants to be a babysitter when you're in a management position.
Yeah.
You're leading adults. And so
the couple things that might look like not building trust are going to be when you're making changes really quickly not allowing staff to even adjust to the next one before you start.
Mm-hmm.
And that you don't want to do that to your staff. The other thing that you might be doing where you assume you get respect because you have a title.
Oh, yes.
Mm-mm.
I remember talking to other managers when I was detailed into a director position for a little while in critical care. And there was this manager who had staff that would come in late and they would take extra long on their breaks, or they'd be on their cell phones. They were just like doing things that were just like sort of slightly disingenuous and slightly disrespectful. And the manager was like, they should just do it differently. Like they should just do it.
Because I'm the manager.
Yeah. And I was like, you have to teach them, you have to set your expectations, and you have to get them to trust you so that they want to do the right thing for you. I mean, we don't all have good parents, but I had a really good mom. And one of the things that kept me out of trouble in high school was I didn't want to disappoint my mom. And if you're being a good leader, you can generate that same type of respect from your team.
That's awesome.
So what you're going to do instead is you're going to not make any changes for the first 30 days that you're in a position. You're just going to spend that entire time building relationships, getting to know your team, doing one-to-ones. If you don't know where to start with a one-to-one, we have 2 videos on one-to-ones.
Yep. And then always just take time to go out, unscheduled, random time with your staff because it matters to them. Taking those moments to just connect with people is always going to get you really far in building trust.
We have a whole video about how to not get stuck in the task trap.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk a lot about all the strategies you can do to actually do these things. And so that video, while it's about not getting stuck in the task trap, the things that we're recommending are actually about how to build trust with your team. The number one mistake that all nurse managers make, especially new managers, is avoiding difficult conversations.
But it's hard and scary. I don't want to do it.
It is hard and scary, and it doesn't actually ever get enjoyable, but it can get easier with practice. But why do people avoid difficult conversations?
Oh, man. Well, I don't know why they avoid them, but I know some of the failures that can happen are going to be like when you come in way too hot, it makes it like kind of worse.
Have you ever done that before?
All the time. Yes.
Tell me an example.
So one of my big flaws and my mistakes is definitely coming in too hot and giving those difficult conversations very bluntly without tact or consideration. Not because I'm trying to be mean. I think I'm just trying to get to the point and get it over with rather than taking the time to consider how to make it land well.
One clue is that people often like to receive feedback the way that they give feedback. Hence, Teresa doesn't want anyone to beat around the bush. When I need to call her and be like, you're pissing me off, I just tell her, you're pissing me off.
And I immediately go, oh, crap, why?
Yes. So that's why you do that, because you like that. I don't love getting critical feedback. And so I want it delivered slightly softer. So I tend to deliver it slightly softer. But if you go too far on the other spectrum and not give it at all, that is its own problem and is almost just as detrimental to you as not taking the time to build trust. Why? Why is that?
If you don't build a little bit of trust before you have a hard conversation, anything you say is going to feel like an attack to them anyways.
Yeah.
What else do you think would be concerning in that
Well,
situation?
I think the other issue I've seen is when you work on a unit as a staff person, if you're a hardworking person and you see other people misbehave or they have poor performance and you watch the manager do nothing about it, that will also degrade your trust.
Yeah.
So even if you're like the nicest person and you're out and you're engaged and you're talking to your team, if you don't address the toxic employees on your team, that is also going to degrade your trust.
Yeah. Again, the difficult conversations are necessary because if you don't weed, you can't fertilize either.
Exactly.
You're going to undermine yourself. The weeds are going to take over.
Yes. Especially if they're very invasive weeds. Yes. So instead, what can we do to fix this problem if we're not good at it and we don't really know where to start?
I think one of the challenging things is if you don't set clear expectations from the beginning, what will happen is when you go to give that feedback, staff will say to you, I never heard that. Like really obvious things. You didn't tell me that I had to scan my meds before I administered them. They can easily, if there's no documented evidence that you did some of these things, obviously there's always the prudent nurse would do type of behaviors. Another one is putting it in writing, for example.
Yes.
Like making sure that you are documenting everything and then address things quickly and early. That way, people see that you're intervening and you're attempting to make efforts in the right direction.
So set those expectations early and then follow up on them. Like, don't just say, this is my expectation, and then not follow up on that. That's a good way to lose trust as well. But the last thing about this that I want to say is that whenever you're having difficult conversations, those should be in private. Do not derail somebody or criticize them in front of their peers. That, again, is going to cause people to stop trusting you. Because if you're watching a manager just railroad somebody in front of you, then that makes that person feel like, well, how are you going to treat me if I mess up?
Yeah.
Yes. So you need to be careful about where and when and timing and placement and all of those things.
Thanks, dumpster friends. Understanding these top 5 mistakes will help you put out your own dumpster fires before you even create them for yourself.